We're here. I'm Guy Montgomery with the Mitt Show. We're glad that you tuned in today. Brian Cook's going to be behind the video.
Hello.
He's working that for us, and I have Jeff Orr, who is actually our online instructor and video editor with the Northwest Florida School of Biblical Studies.
Hey there.
So what we're going to do today, Jeff has helped me in the past with some of this pluck and foam stuff in cases, and I haven't dealt with it as much as he has, so I've asked him to come in and to actually help us out with this video today. Now what we're doing, we've already done a video on the Members Mark case. Be sure and check that out. Brian and I did do a review. We like the case. We're setting up a mobile unit for podcast recording. I go to lectureships and meetings, different places. I want to be able to take it into the display areas, set up pretty quickly, and start recording. This case has the wheels. It also has the padding to be able to preserve everything that we have to keep it safe. The first step, what we're going to do is just figure out the placement of how we want everything to fit. As we're doing this, I'll describe for you what we're putting into the case and why. I want to start, really, let's try, Jeff, the microphones. These are Heil PR40 microphones that we use in the studio, and we're going to go ahead and give the screens, keep them with them. And so we'll just kind of place them in. We kind of played around a little earlier, so we'll just put them in here. I think that's going to be too much space, but we'll see here in a minute. And then if you want to get the cans, headphones.
Headphones.
Yeah, they're on your side.
Yes.
Gotcha. We had before the idea of putting these in, and what we talked about maybe is creating even in that void underneath, the way we could put the cable and then the can.
Right.
And so we'll do something along that line maybe. And when you're doing your case, don't start plucking foam out until after you know where you want the stuff. I know that seems simple, but it's amazing how that'll be. We're using the Focusrite. It is the Scarlett. We did a review on this, the Scarlett 2i2, and we'll be placing it in as well. We did a review on our new mic stands that will go in. They do have the Heil attachment that came with the PR40s. We don't use them in the studio, so we're going to be able to leave them in the case all the time. But on this, it does shrink down or collapse. Maybe not shrink, but collapse down. And so we'll do some placement around, see how that'll go. Right. Jeff, if you want to take that one. I'm thinking we'll be able to make a place. We got to have the cable to go with the Scarlett. My idea is we'll probably just make a cutout for that underneath so that can go in there. And we're going to put two mic cables in. These are the Curlin. We went with 6 foot. And you may have different places that you buy your cables. These 6 foot came out $6.99. We found that to be a pretty good price. Good quality cable by this company. Purchased these at Blues Angel Music here in Pensacola. Their staff was very helpful as we were looking. That's actually where we bought the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. I do buy a lot of cables. If I need one in town, sometimes I go to All Pro Sound. Some of you watching this may be familiar with them because they do a lot of web and catalog fulfillment. And I also use CCI Solutions. If you call and ask for my buddy Dale Erickson, and you tell them that Guyton Montgomery said to call. Won't necessarily save you any money, but you just tell Dale I said hello, and they're very good. And I always ask him what is the best price. So if they have any type of special, a lot of times they're knock the price down for what they want. I'm thinking, Jeff, let's try. I believe this cable will go underneath the cans, each right. one. And we do have we used to have this mounted underneath, so we got some tape, but it's ART Accessories. This is a splitter for our headphones, and so we could go up in here with that. And the only thing that we have not, and I'm thinking, Jeff, what we want to do on it is make a place underneath, because we have 3 layers of foam with this case. So on that middle layer, I think we can do a small little cutout in it.
Right.
That we could put that underneath.
Right.
And perhaps the cable that we'll need for that could go in the same spot, or we might be able to just put that inside one of the microphone there. So that's all pretty close. The only other thing, a lot of times I get there, I don't have enough power. Sometimes I run TVs with a presentation going. I like to be able to plug in my laptop. I'm there all day. I like to be able to charge my iPhone and other accessories. Sometimes if I'm wanting to try and do some live streaming stuff, I will carry with me a hotspot. I need some power source for that. So I'm trying to work this in there. And I think possibly, Jeff, I don't know if we're able to turn these more in this way.
And turn your power supply sideways.
All right, Brian, that's a good observation there.
I'm directing this show.
If we turn that sideways, again, that middle layer of foam, I don't know why we couldn't cut some out to make the plug fit down in there, and we could fit that there.
Right.
What do you think, Jeff?
That sounds good to me.
Now on this, there's an outside shell that is one solid piece all the way around this pick layer. I'm going to try and leave that solid because it should give more stability to the foam if we don't tear it apart. We really only want to pull the squares out if we can do that. I think the best way is to start on one side and work ourselves over and kind of check it as we go. And so you've done this before, Jeff. Which way you want to start?
Probably, well, why don't we start on the inside here?
Okay.
And there you go. Kind of, want me to go ahead and start here? Or?
And we want to try and keep that round,
Right.
For the most part.
Let's see. Let me size this up again, if you don't mind.
And when in doubt, the old adage, and I've done woodworking, different things, is always you measure twice and you cut once.
There. Okay.
So the same is true when you're doing this in these cases in pick foam. You know, if you're not sure, go ahead and check it. Check once, check twice, 3, 4, 5 times as you go. If you can't see exactly what he's doing, he's actually holding it in place. He's taking his fingers and inserting them into the square holes.
And I think that is going to be perfect. It'll be square, but because they are square, it's just going to be hard to get a round edge.
All right.
So we know this is what we take out right here.
All right.
And
so now that he's marked the part he's taken out, he's going to just go ahead and finish working that out at this point.
Get this top part here.
Now, in the past, I'm not always the best at doing this because I get in a rush. That's the good thing about Jeff. He is a very patient individual, and why I'm glad that he is in here.
Except when you mess up his studio.
And what we're doing, I have another set here.
He's referring to a text.
And we can actually put these in here and test that.
Yeah, look at that.
And that seems to work just fine. And that actually has our headphones as well as our microphone cable in there.
Cool.
So now there's really no reason. We know we want to keep in this line. Anytime you keep a straight line in these, it's just going to make it look better.
Right.
Now I know somebody's out there and they're saying, what's it matter how it looks? Maybe it doesn't, but you spend the money on this, you want it orderly, and there's something to be said when you open it up and it looks nice and sharp. Now, if you want, you can measure over a little bit. Make sure you leave a space between, and you can measure over, and Jeff's going to kind of measure it out.
Yeah.
Because these are identical pieces, he'll just go ahead and get that started.
And then you got a pet pillow.
For your hamster.
But now,
Okay.
all
You'll
kidding
leave
aside
that
on
there.
this, it is handy to keep these extra pieces of foam. There will be times that if you need to ship a product back to somebody, I recently had to send, I'm going to give a shout out to Mevo. We had a little problem with one of our Mevo cams. We have multiples. We use them around here a lot, but I did have a firmware update issue, and I showed that I purchased it from them. Now, there's an advantage to purchasing from Livestream. I was able to put my purchase order number in. They immediately gave me a label online to be able to print out, and ship it back, and they sent me a brand new one to replace it because it was still under warranty. So these little pieces of foam come in handy when you're trying to ship a product within there. So I would hold on to them myself. We have the mic cable we're going to place down in here. On this one, we still have for the headphone amplifier splitter. We're going to go put that cable in as well. I'm going to go ahead and organize this back up just a little bit. Your cable recommendation on any time is, remember, you want to avoid tangling your cable or putting any kinks in cables. That's where you get shorts, you get pops, and you know, you spend all this money on nice equipment. We want to just take a little bit of time to keep our cables in good condition. So I'll just lay those in there. And as I do, the headphones sit down very nicely. We'll check that final fitting after we
that's okay.
we'll check that final fitting after we go on to the next pieces.
Okay.
I think what I want to do, Jeff, is let's go ahead. We're going to turn this with the knobs going this way.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what we can do to keep that straight line off the back. I mentioned about straight lines earlier.
Right.
And we'll go with a straight line and try and fit this in.
Maybe it would
into
be
that
better
area.
if I came
No,
around
you block the
edge.
camera. You block the camera. So let's
All right. Okay.
let's keep working from this side.
Okay. All right. We want it that far back, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, Jeff's doing a great job. He's just measuring that out. Remember, mid-show is the work of the Northwest Florida School of Biblical Studies. We encourage you, check our website out, nwfsbs.com, and notice the technology program that we have incorporated in our preacher training school. Also, if you don't want to be a preacher, that's fine. Just want to learn more about the Bible, free online classes at courses.nwfsbs.com.
That's right.
Or .org.
Well, it's org.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. No problem.
.com will take you to .org as well.
And everything we do at Northwest Florida School of Biblical Studies is the work of the Church of Christ Milestone. It's provided through the free will offering to the saints. We don't sell or charge for anything we do. And so we do appreciate all the supporters that help make this work possible. I almost sounded like a public broadcast channel, but
Are we giving out mugs now? And t-shirts?
no, we can't afford that.
Okay.
All right, for those that haven't watched the video, I will point out here this case. It came from Members Mark, and is a Members Mark case, and actually came from Sam's Club. All right, so we have that out. He fits that in.
Perfect.
That's a nice fit. Fits down a little lower. Now we know.
Well, yeah.
I mentioned earlier that underneath we're going to want to try and cut out a place possibly for this. I'm going to wait.
Right.
It may be that we have enough room somewhere on the top to just make a place for the cord. And if so, I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to hold off on trying to place that underneath.
Okay. In fact, just as big as it is, that's all you need. You know,
Yeah,
it'll fit
I think we
in.
may be able to find space for that, so I want to hold off. I think one of the next big things is going to be our microphones.
Right.
If we go here, I think we could fit that in. But Jeff,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think so.
know. Let's see if we can actually leave a space
For that.
for that.
Yeah, I think so.
Within there, I don't know if that's possible for you.
Yeah, it would be this row right here. We
All
would
right,
leave
if
that
we
in
can
there.
leave that row,
And-
you
and
mark
just
it,
Take
and
this out. Okay.
we'll go from there.
All right, and maybe do a couple of things over here so we don't. Okay. And
And I'll get my hand out of his way.
so we'll take this one out right here.
Now we have the Heil PR40 microphones. The reason we're using them, they're very good mics for the money, but we already have them paid for in the studio. And so what we're doing is setting it up in such a fashion, because normally when I'm on the road, we're not going to have 4 people in the studio. In time, if we can afford one day, we may get 2 more in place within this case, and then we wouldn't have to be taking them in and out. But for right now, this works really well for us.
And try to leave that in there. Okay. And
Now, if Brian can get in here and see,
right,
what
and
he's
then
been able to
set
do
it
is
right
actually take out just one spacing here.
Right.
As he does, he'll leave this row here,
Right.
and he'll try and pick up here. Now what that will do is allow for that spacing of that mic just a little bit, and we'll see how that works.
Right.
All right. If we have to, Jeff, we could always go this way
Right.
and take out for this boom or this little extension arm if we have to.
Okay.
But let's try and go this way.
Yeah, I think that would be probably better there. All right, here we go. See if they get the exact measurement here. Right there.
I find it useful to leave as much of the equipment on top of the phone so it reminds you which spaces you need to be working with. If we took all this off, it may throw us off just a little bit.
Right here, I think. Get a good snug fit. Well, I don't know. Maybe I would. Okay, I've already kind of predetermined that right there, so, all right. It'll be good, though. There we go. Yeah, hold that one. And leave that right there.
All right, and we will give it a test fit to see how it fits.
Oh, wow.
The only
is
thing
kinda
that I
deep,
want to
yeah,
try
it's
and do,
deep.
if you will hand me
Maybe leave
what you
another
just
layer
took
under
out,
it.
I'm going to actually go back in.
Mhm.
I'm going to take 2 squares to start with here.
Yeah, and maybe put them on the bottom because it is laying. a little
Well, I'm
deep,
going to
yeah.
try this just
Okay,
to see,
sides, okay.
to
cool.
create a side here. And on the next one, we may try and leave that
Right.
attached, but I don't believe we're going to have any problem just sticking those back in, and it will
Right.
keep the side-to-side movement of the microphone a little bit better.
Right.
And as we measure, and what I'd say, if you do one and hey, that's working, I could take that in and out easy enough, and that's just going to keep that from being able to move.
Right.
And what I'll say, Jeff, on this next one,
Mhm.
let's go let's get our placement of our mic here.
Yeah.
I think that'll look good going that way.
So maybe just take a middle one out here.
Go 2,
Yeah.
take a middle one out,
Yeah.
and then only 1 here. I think we have too much space here.
Yeah, you might be right. And we could also put another thing.
Yes,
back
we
in
could
there
put a
as
layer
well,
if we so chose right there. I think that one will be fine, but let's
Right.
go ahead and measure that for that next one.
Yeah, because this is wider than the actual mic. Yeah.
And let's leave
Yeah.
two blocks here.
Okay.
And so let's start just like we did that last one.
So we're gonna leave that block, and we'll start on this one.
But let's
Yeah.
start right here
Right.
with
Okay.
this one.
Yeah. Right.
And you can count your blocks for
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know once we go over here, it's going to be right
Right
there,
there,
being our
yeah.
first one.
Right.
He'll count 5 over, and that'll give him the placement.
Okay. But once we get here, I need to go over 2. Yeah, I see. And then go right here for this.
Yeah. Take
Yeah.
1 center one out.
Yeah. Okay.
Then on that side, I'll just go over 1.
Yeah.
There we go. I think that's going to be a better fit on the second one.
I think
And remember,
you're right.
you can adjust this as you go. I don't know if it would work, but if you're worried about the block coming out that you add back in, I imagine you could put some tape, some glue, something if it really bothers you.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't. You're seeing a picture at the end. This will work really well
Okay.
the way we have it.
3, 4, 5. Because we need 5 for this and kind of 4 for that, or 3 for that. Yeah. So maybe one on either side. Well, we'll figure it out. Okay. Let me.
Because that'll fit in there, no problem
Yeah,
being
it
attached
will. Yeah. And that's going to lay down like this.
this way.
Okay. Yeah.
And
So
it
not
doesn't.
like that. Okay.
And the reason being is the Heil. I've lined these up just so it gives you a nice, good picture when you go in here.
Right.
So if you want to take out for that,
Yeah. Which is going to take out 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's wider than the mic itself. Okay, so we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right here. There you go.
You move those 3 items out
And
for a second.
and again,
I'm gonna move these
Okay.
so that they can see a little bit better what you're working on,
okay.
and we'll check their placement afterwards.
All right. And then again, we decided,
And remember, measure twice,
yeah,
cut once. Measure 10 times, cut once.
yeah.
It doesn't hurt.
Measure
But
twice,
we want to
butt
leave
once.
an extra one on either side, right? That's what we're talked about doing.
At least
possibly.
on one side, leave an extra one.
Yeah.
That's going to go snug on this.
Yeah.
As snug as you can if you want me to hold the thing while you work your.
Okay. At least to that point here, okay. Okay.
All right,
But
that looks
then,
good.
yeah, I need to move that.
And then let's try. I'm already on it right here.
Okay, good.
So I'll start.
And then here, we're just going to move it over this way. Yeah,
And we left one space in between here.
right.
So we're good there. Just move the
Okay.
microphone out of the way. We're going all the way over to here. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, actually, I think okay, we're gonna leave one there, that's right, okay, gotcha. And then maybe we need to leave one in the middle here, sorry.
Oh, you're in good shape.
Yeah,
Jeff.
okay, yeah,
And when you're doing this, if you're not doing it by yourself, it always great to have a great partner like Jeff. As far as great faculty member, you gotta be careful using the word partner nowadays, Jeff.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to use that term anymore.
I think you're the one that used it, Guyton.
I
Thank
know.
you.
And I like the fitting of this one
Yes,
better.
right,
In fact, I'm gonna put 2 more back in here, and it's just gonna be a little. Make it snug just a little
Yeah.
bit more.
And maybe,
I'm debating. I may put a row back in on that other one.
yeah, we can always put a little.
You know, I may later, Jeff,
Tape
just
on that.
deduct out of your check a price of a new pick phone, and we'll redo that. Would that be okay?
Well, I guess.
Just
so.
kidding. Just kidding.
He won't get paid that week.
Yeah,
There we go.
I have,
And now-
let me price that before I answer the question.
But let me show, as far as, we added these pieces back, so they're not completely attached. Little hot glue is all you have to do if you don't want them to come out. But when I reach in here, take this microphone out, I'm not just throwing it around. I'm just reaching in there. Everything's still in spot.
Mhm.
Go back. It goes back in.
Right.
It hasn't gone anywhere. And that's the one that we had to add the pieces back into. So
Right.
that works really well. Nice, snug fit. Now, what we haven't done since we started is trying to close the case. Let's just go and do that now, just as a way of seeing. We notice a nice, snug fit.
Mhm.
And technically we could, and that's just the handle on the side moving.
Yeah. Now we just need the Samsonite gorilla.
Yeah.
Move around a little bit.
Just throw it off the top of the building.
And Samsonite, if you want to, and this is Members Mark case. They make Pelican cases. They make, and we'll be happy to test any case that somebody wants to give to us to test. But remember, we don't charge for anything we do, so we do everything on a dime. And this seems to be a great deal. Now, before we place anything else, I want to put everything back up there.
Right.
Before we try and make that decision on where we're going to put some of these items. Go ahead, Jeff. You had some input?
Well, I was thinking maybe about move that there and just cut it even with this. It'll look nice, at least symmetrical.
If we can go to right there,
Right.
it's still.
Yeah.
Uh,
Your
Get it.
buttons.
I actually feel like I'd rather go this way.
Yeah. Okay.
Brian, you have input on this?
I was just saying, make sure your buttons have,
Clearance,
yeah.
and still have plenty of space here.
Right.
Yeah, matter of fact, if you would pluck out the places for the
Maybe
big
do one
knobs,
or
you
two.
know which way it goes in.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
That still fits there. We still
And-
have room here.
And we know this is deep enough to take this whole thing down. As far as That's
Yeah.
2.5, 3 inches deep. Yeah.
So, Jeff, I think that placement, leaving a full square
Yeah.
right here.
Mhm.
The other option, we could move this over more if you want more cushion.
Yeah.
This is one of the more expensive items in the box. So instead of keeping that line, I think I'm going to go
Yeah.
away from that. And just, I have the space.
Yeah.
I like the idea of giving a little bit more cushion between the Heil microphones, the end where the mic's plugged in,
Right.
and this. That might not make a difference, but a little extra cushion is never a bad thing. So we're actually going to
Right.
break the line on that.
I understand.
But I'm actually looking here. You know, and just test it different ways. You never know as you try these
Well, yeah.
what might work best. Is something that you didn't think the first time. And that comes, but I really think, Jeff, our layout right here,
Yeah.
let's go and leave 2 blocks here.
Mhm.
Those are lined off a little bit. I like the idea, what he says, is at least the knob,
Right.
leave some spacing here.
Right.
That way you can see, hey, this is the way it goes into there.
Right.
And then we can still put these in here, and we should still have room. So I'll leave you to it.
Okay. Let's see if we're gonna do it right there. And we said a couple blocks here, right? Yeah. What? It wouldn't hurt to be snug on the edges here.
Yeah.
That- That'd be better, in fact, I think. And let's see.
Jeff, you're pretty good at that.
Well,
Really do appreciate his patience. Remember, when you're working on something, you'd rather go too small to start with and then fix it, because it's always harder to add back. Now this you can.
that's
it's-
pretty snug.
That's a nice snug. We didn't go with leaving the room for the buttons.
Well, that's why I took a little extra thing out.
If we wanted to try, you could
Yeah.
put that in there if you think you need it. But honestly, that's not doing anything.
Yeah.
So that's not going to slide. That is protected.
Yeah, it's additional.
That's in good shape.
Okay, cool.
I do have this cable. The easy thing would be just lay it underneath, put that on there, and it's done. If I want to, I can go in, actually just cut out a little bit. When you're cutting foam, they actually make sometimes a Ryan, help me out with the terminology. It's a heat gun type.
It's like a wire.
Yeah, a heat wire.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're cutting foam, I don't have one of those. So most likely we're just going to lay this cord in here. We're going to put that over that. That's not going to hurt a thing. Remember, your Scarlett Focusrite, this isn't cheap plastic. We've had some other brands we've used that are very, they're larger. They're not MAC compatible, which didn't mean we couldn't use it. And it wasn't this nice metal, well-constructed case to it. All right, so we have that part done. It's looking really good, Jeff. Doing a great job. Let's look at these now. One of the things that I want to point out to you, Brian, if you can bring that camera over in here, I want you to show how it's looking so far. And with this, you notice, I mean, it's all in line, looking sharp. Both Heil microphones are lined up the same way. Your cans are in here, lined up the same way. Now, if you look at your stands as we have them, you know, it'd be real easy for us to make sure we put them the same way. Because if we put them the same way, it's just automatically going to look nicer sitting in the case if we can do that. And you may want to say, well, I want it this way so I can reach in here and pull it out. I may want it here. I'm thinking, Jeff, actually that's a good idea. If we line them up like this, it'd be real easy to reach in,
Right.
be able to pull it out that way.
I think you're right.
So we want to leave at least a space in between right here.
Right.
This has us lined up all the way to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if you want to start with that outside one,
Right.
and let's work that in. Let's go real slim right in here if we can. I'd almost rather just see if it'll fit without knocking out for that if we can keep it.
Yeah. Okay. You're talking about maybe making it slimmer in the middle here.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, and wider there. Okay, hold on. Yeah, maybe get it right. Let's see here. And maybe right here.
He's going to punch out the first one. We're going to let you see that in real time. After he gets that finished, as he does the second one, in editing, we will speed that process up on the second because it's the same type of stand. It's going to be the same way, and we'll save a little bit of time.
Okay, maybe yeah, we need a little extra here. Okay. Okay. So I think here we're going to have a little wider there and a little narrower here.
One of the things we've talked about, I haven't done it yet, but my wife has a Cricut machine. We also have one here at the church building that we find useful. And I got to see if we have the vinyl in stock. If I have it on hand, I'll try and do this before this video goes out there on the YouTube channel. But we've talked about on the outside of the case putting our logo on there, just cutting the vinyl logo out. Could actually just go ahead and put a name and address just in case, and a phone number. Those are some ideas that you could have. Of course, that doesn't protect against somebody stealing it, but what it would do is help you in the ways of if it gets lost, somebody comes across it.
Well, it's deep enough. I think I need to take one more out here, at least for that part there. I mean, it's going to be pretty tight right there. That might be what you want, though.
If I'm looking, what I'm going to do is actually take one little square out right here, Jeff.
Yeah, for the knob. Gotcha.
That knob sticks out a little bit more, and I'm going to take two squares out here.
Yeah, for the other knob.
And I think if those will stay, that creates you a nice snug fit. We don't have to worry about it. Well, that didn't work at all. We're just going to do that.
Okay.
You know, when it doesn't go as planned, what do? You adjust.
Yeah. Yep.
We may have to change that as we go forward a little bit.
I should have allowed another extra space right here, but that's okay.
It's already done, Jeff.
Yeah.
You already messed it up. So, no, I'm just kidding. Jeff didn't mess anything up. He's doing a great job. And I like the way that fits, man.
All right.
I think we need to go same way.
Right.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a couple
line it
spaces
over.
in between them, yeah.
Yeah. We need at least two squares. If you go down to one square, and that's what we found out here, if you go to one square, it wants to come undone. So you're really better off going to two. All right, Jeff.
Okay. Yeah, we decided on one square since I already messed up there.
No mess up. Just learning as we go.
Okay. Well, I gotta stay humble. Okay, here we go.
Why I'm messing with this is just nervousness, I guess.
Yeah.
No. But remember, as you're doing it, just be able to make sure that you.
Yeah, I think I got a couple there, and then I have, again, we're gonna do it, cut it just like that.
Yes.
Make it symmetrical. Okay.
Have all your stuff before you start plucking.
Right. And that's about 1, 2.
And we went and brought a pair of scissors just in case, but the way this stuff is made, all you need is a good set of hands with fingers. And that's really nice.
And 3 up to this point. Okay. And then 2 here. I'll try to be gentle. Do it like that, or did I put it upside down?
No, I think that works well. If you had to,
Okay.
you can always put these
Right.
sideways, and then maybe that's
Yeah.
the way we need to go, is sideways. Maybe that actually works.
Right.
That actually, I think, looks better, Jeff, and
Yeah.
fits well.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice and snug down here, so it's not going to damage anything.
Right.
So I think that'll work great. All right, we're down to really 2 items. We still have the plug here and the one here. Now I'm thinking what we can do, Jeff, maybe a small square right here
Right.
that we could tuck the cable down into and just shove this right down into there.
Yeah.
And that should still leave us plenty of room right here
Yeah, it looks like maybe 2 on that side, 1 on that side.
within here. And I'll give this one a go.
Okay,
Since
cool. You're closer to it.
I'm right here. You've been having to do all the work.
Yeah.
Just drop that. Maybe that's why. I've been letting you do it. 'Cause I drop stuff. But having never done this, it's good to get the experience of actually getting your hands involved. I'm just gonna make these small here. See how that'll fit if I was to fit that in. Well, that still didn't quite do it, so I'm going to do another test fit here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's enough. You think you
Hold on, don't pull because of right
Yeah,
there. Be real
okay.
careful when you have one line,
Right, yeah,
because that's really starting to put close.
yeah. I see.
And I feel like this is where that layer underneath may
Right.
do just as well. I'm going to go one more off
Okay.
here,
That's good.
and I think it'll fit just cozy right in there. Cozy. Is that a good word
Oh,
to use
yeah.
for it?
I think that'll fly.
Goes in right. It'll fly. Speaking of that, these cases, that's actually better just like that. Works perfect, nice, snug fit.
Mm-hmm.
So how's that now, Jeff?
Yeah,
Right in here. We're gonna go right down. I think 2. Right here.
right.
Well, might need to go all the way to the end, Jeff.
Okay.
Right here,
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
and we're gonna break this one right in here too.
So we'll have 1 there and then 2 the rest of the way here, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm holding that there. Is that? So this job's almost done. We've been at this, Brian, about how long now?
It'd be 41 minutes according to the audio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't feel like that long. I mean,
Time flies when you're working with the phone.
It would seem that long to the people watching it, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a couple people already died.
not really.
About that far.
Yeah, we're gonna
It
we're
may-
gonna try first.
Yeah, because it may be deep enough to, to put the thing down unless we. Okay.
Oh yes. We're right there at it so far.
Right.
We'll see. I'm gonna try and just
Smush her down.
put her in here. See exactly how this will fit. I'm not liking that yet, Jeff.
Yeah. Maybe we need to.
I love the
cut a
way
little
this
thing there,
is,
Yeah.
but I feel like we really need underneath
Right.
cut.
On this, yes.
Just because the cord is so thick. So what we're gonna do
Yeah. Trying
is
to
we're
do-
gonna go ahead and take everything out. Brian might just cut through some of this for you. I don't know when as he said in the video, but we're gonna take this out, go down the bottom layer, and we're actually just gonna cut. There's a middle layer. We're just gonna cut part of that corner out, and I'm gonna find a way of marking that while Jeff starts removing the pieces.
Gotcha.
And I might actually be able to do that without removing the pieces, Jeff. Hold on just a minute.
Well.
We're learning stuff as we go, so I'm actually just kind of cutting this in spot, because foam, as long as I'm going to here, Jeff, I think this may work almost like making our own plucking. As I'm doing this, I'm using this top as a guide for my scissors. Remember, this is not something that people are going to see very well anyway. When I was working with my father, I have this tendency, and I'm not the only one, I notice my sons do this sometimes as well. When they are working, they start sticking their tongue out. I don't know, Brian, do you do that ever?
I don't know. Of course, you don't know it when you're doing it.
You don't. Well, my daddy, I'd be working on something as a kid, and as I did, he'd say, "Go bite your tongue off."
Yeah. It's the concentration phase.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't concentrate with the tongue in your mouth. It gets in the way of your brain.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right. Now I think I would have removed this.
Yeah.
In the future.
Oh, yeah, it's deep enough to.
But I think this is going to work fine. That's going to look really pretty on top. And what it's going to do is just give us enough space that we can then put our cord down in the void, putting this in the top the way we originally wanted,
Right.
and nothing's going to be able to move.
Yeah.
So Brian, if you want to be able to see, here is our case. Now, give you an idea how much foam we took out. Jeff, put that stuff up here. That's all the foam we took out of this case. Now, if you're concerned about this foam coming out, you can always do some gluing onto the edge so that it won't move on you. I might do that in this area here just because of the cutting I did, how close we went on there. And then I'm also, this has a tendency to fall down on this case. Probably going to do some glue right up in this area just so it doesn't come down. We're going to show you very easily here the case when it's rolling. We actually have here, I'm sure somebody will be technical later and they'll say, well, you should have turned these the other way. Well, technically I don't think it's going to hurt. Your weight's going to rest here. It's not going to hurt anything.
Right.
So we thank you for watching this video. Hope it's useful to you. If you decide to make a mobile rig for podcasting or your equipment, please comment, tag. What did you find useful? What kind of cases? Do you have some secrets on how to use this plucking foam? Some tips you have found useful? Make sure you comment below this video. We'll be watching, and thank you for tuning in.
Northwest Florida School of Biblical Studies, equipping Christians for life.